Hello, folks. Welcome to Module 6. We saw that one of the main branches of philosophy is the branch called ethics. Ethics broadly deals with right conduct. How do we figure out what is the right thing to do ethically, and how do we justify our moral decisions? In other words, what reasons can be given for thinking that A rather than B is the right thing to do? Ethical theories broadly divide into two main categories. There is a category called consequentialism, and its name suggests to a certain degree what it thinks is most important. Basically, consequentialist moral theories say the only thing that is morally relevant to whether what we do is morally right or morally wrong is the results of our actions, or are the results of our actions. That is, the consequences of what we do. Now, we're going to look at the theory of utilitarianism as an example of a consequentialist approach to ethics, and we're going to focus mainly on the historical philosopher John Stuart Mill's version and take on utilitarianism. Even though he did not start the theory, Mill is one of the chief two proponents of it historically. Jeremy Bentham founded utilitarian ethical theory. And utilitarians basically say that the right thing to do is what produces the greatest balance of good versus bad consequences, not for just us, but for anyone affected by our actions, or for society as a whole. Now, on the other side of the fence, you have what are called deontological theories, a nice 50-cent word there, from the word deontos. Basically, deon is the Greek word for duty, and what these theories advocate is that there are other ways that we can figure out our duty, our ethical duty, what to do, than just looking at consequences. Consequentialists say consequences tell the whole story. Once we've looked at the results of what we do, we don't have to look any further. Whereas non-consequentialist theories will generally point to things like universal moral principles that hold sometimes regardless of consequences. One of the best historical philosophers to hold the non-consequentialist view is Immanuel Kant, and we're going to look at his views on ethics as an example of non-consequentialism. Now, also, basically in the non-consequentialist camp, but somebody with a very different approach to ethics, was the historical philosopher Aristotle. And he was mostly concerned not just with figuring out what we ought to do and how are we to arrive at an end result on that. But Aristotle was more concerned with character traits. What kind of person ought we to be? And we'll see that he thought we could actually develop good character. It's not something that we are born with when we come into this world. So, one of the questions and one of the issues in ethics is, well, is it an either or situation? Should we be worried in ethics only about character traits and not as worried about what are called theories of obligation, theories that try to give us a decision procedure for what we ought to do morally? Or should we focus mostly on figuring out and how we figure out and justify our ethical choices and not worry so much about character traits? Or are both approaches something that we ought to take seriously? Well, hope you enjoy the module, and we'll see you in the next module, where we're also going to continue in ethics, but in what we call applied ethics. We're going to look at how these theories approach a few hot button contemporary issues. Like I say, enjoy the module. See you in Module 7.